Okay, the second important composition in a cell, chemical composition in a cell, is carbohydrates. We will be looking at carbohydrates, which is an organic compounds. Unlike water just now, they are inorganic. This one is organic compounds, chemical compounds that contains carbon, hydrogen, and also oxygen elements. Okay, elements. If you are to ask what are the elements that is in carbohydrates, C, H, and also O. So carbohydrates is actually large and complex compounds, okay, that forms macromolecules. The word macro means large. So most macromolecules, they are polymers. What are they? Comprising of the small molecules known as the monomers. So you can imagine those building blocks, we call it as monomers. As they join together, they form polymers, which are large. So carbohydrates, proteins, later on we will be looking at it, as well as nucleic acids. They are polymer molecules. Polymer molecules, the one that consists smaller building blocks, monomers, okay, of organic compounds. So carbs, they are important as a source of energy and the basic structure of some organisms. So carbohydrates are organic compounds consisting of elements CHO in this ratio, 1 to 2 to 1. So therefore we got this chemical formula CH2O, okay, and then N outside the bracket. So the types, three main types. The monosaccharides, mono means one, so they are simple sugars. Di means two, disaccharides consist of two monosaccharides. And poly means a lot, a longer chain of saccharides, and that's why they are called the complex sugars. Okay, saccharides means sugar, so understood why the terms are used here. So let's look at the monosaccharides, mono 1. Since they are mono 1, being the simplest, so they are the building blocks. So carbohydrate monomers, simplest building blocks. Okay, carbohydrates units, which can combine, okay, among the monomers themselves to form polymers. And this building up, this process of building up is called a condensation reaction. So how to identify monosaccharides? Mostly they taste sweet, they can form crystals, and they are able to dissolve in water. Okay, so that means they are able to form bonding with the water molecules. Okay, examples of monosaccharides: glucose, fructose, galactose. So you have to remember glu, fru, galac. So, or another way is that G, G, F. So glucose is the sugar found in plants, rice, wheat, fruits like grapes. So when you look at these examples, you know that they taste sweet. Glucose is the most commonly found monosaccharides, and most polysaccharides are formed from this sugar. Okay, what does this mean? Because we know that the other monomers that they will combine to form the polymers through condensation. And so to say, this building blocks combination is going to form disaccharides or polysaccharides and even more complex sugar. So hence, when we look at this sentence, we understand the meaning, saying that most of the polysaccharides has got building blocks or the subunit of glucose. And that's why after we have eaten, okay, we say all these carbohydrates are broken down into simplest form that is glucose, to be absorbed into our blood. Okay, next, fructose is the sugar that is found in honey, in sweet fruits. Okay, and then galactose is related to milk. Okay, monosaccharides has the reducing power. We call it as the reducing sugar. Reducing power, which means it is able to transfer hydrogen or electrons to other compounds. Okay, so that means they donate hydrogen, donate electron, lose hydrogen, lose electron. That means they has this reducing power, able to remove or to transfer hydrogen and electrons from one compound to the other. So this is called the reducing process. Okay, they are the reducing sugar. They are the reducing agent, but they themselves will be oxidized. Okay, so when the monosaccharides is heated in Benedict solution, okay, this is a reagent. You remember the color, which is blue, the one that you have used it in your laboratory. So these monosaccharides will reduce blue copper to sulfate. Okay, remember the observation when you test it in the Benedict solution in the water bath. There's brick red precipitate mendakan merah bata. Okay, so why is it turning brick red precipitate? It's because this copper 2 sulfate is no longer present, but now it has been changed to copper 1 oxide. And this copper 1 oxide is not soluble in water, and that's why you get to see precipitate ataupun mendakan. Okay, so all monosaccharides, remember, all monosaccharides, which means glucose, fructose, galactose, they give this reaction, they are the reducing sugar. Okay, in here, so you can see that the electrons from copper Cu2 plus becomes Cu plus. So that means one electron has been transferred. Okay, for disaccharides, they are formed when two. Okay, so the terms di tells us two simple sugar molecules, which are the monosaccharides that we've discussed just now. They combine through condensation, okay, to form a disaccharide unit. So condensation, again, just now we saw the term here. Remember, whenever you are forming something, building up, it's a condensation. Okay, so same goes to here, where these two simple sugar is combining, that means building up. So condensation process is the process, the name of the process. And it involves, this process, condensation that we're talking, involves removal of one molecule. Now this is the one, this word equations over here gives you a clearer picture. Remember, glucose, fructose, galactose, they are the monosaccharides. So when two monosaccharides, glucose, combine, this process is known as condensation, and you form a disaccharide, which is maltose. Okay, and then one water molecule is being removed. This is condensation. Okay, from two simple sugar forming a disaccharide. These are the monosaccharides. Okay, if glucose is to react with fructose, that means to combine through condensation, sucrose is formed. One water molecule is being removed. And then glucose with galactose, again, condensation. It's building up from monomers to become a disaccharide, in this case lactose. And then same one molecule of water is being removed. So to say, maltose, sucrose, lactose, or LMS, is under disaccharides. Okay, can you remember? Okay, disaccharides can also be broken down to their monosaccharides units through hydrolysis with the addition of one water molecule. Do not be confused, do not be burdened. Okay, there's nothing new about this. It's actually the reverse if you are to notice. Just now, these products over here, the right side, change places. You notice that? Okay. Just now we said building up, small, simple sugar combined, forming disaccharides. This is condensation. But when disaccharides are to be broken down, this process is called hydrolysis. Why? Because this process requires water. Okay, to break down this maltose disaccharide, yeah, to become its monomer. They are monosaccharides units, which means glucose molecules. Lyse, pecah, break. So sucrose disaccharide, with the presence of water is going to lyse this sucrose, which is a disaccharide, to become the monosaccharides, glucose and fructose. And then another one is lactose. In the presence of water, it's being lysed to become its monomers, which is glucose and galactose. Okay, so two reaction here, two terms. Condensation, it's an anabolism or building up, and we have hydrolysis, which is a breaking down process, or we say it's a catabolism. And then please take note whether water is removed or it is added. From here you can identify what type of response it is. Okay, so examples of disaccharides, the LMS just now, the lactose, maltose, and sucrose. Okay, these are the examples. Sucrose is found in sugarcane, sweet fruits, sugar beet. Okay, lactose, it is in milk. Maltose in grains. So examples, yeah. Okay, so lactose and maltose are reducing sugars. Sucrose is not a reducing sugar. Okay, just now we said all the monosaccharides, they are the reducing sugar. So how about the disaccharides? So here, disaccharides, also they are reducing sugar except sucrose. Except sucrose. Okay, sucrose is a non-reducing sugar because it does not reduce copper to sulfate solution. Okay, if sucrose is dehydrolyzed, okay, into the monosaccharides, which is glucose and fructose, then only when you test it with the Benedict's reagent solution, then only it will show a positive results. Positive results, which is the brick red precipitate just now. But if you are to test sucrose with Benedict solution, you won't see this type of result because sucrose solution itself is a non-reducing sugar. Okay, let's look at the third one, polysaccharides, from the word poly. A lot. They are the polymers, okay, poly, consisting of monosaccharides, monomers. So similar to disaccharides, polysaccharides are formed through condensation. Okay, pembentukan ini, condensation. But the difference is that it involves hundreds of monosaccharides forming a long molecular chains. Okay, long molecular chains. But just now disaccharides, dua sahaja. So that's why two monomers only. But here, since it is polysaccharides means sugar, hundreds lah, poly tu banyak. A lot of these monosaccharides to combine. What's the name of the process? Condensation. So is water removed or water is added? Water is removed. Okay, very simple. If it is hydrolysis requires water, that means water is added. So in this case, you can answer confidently That condensation process is the one involved in the formation of polysaccharides, where one molecule of water is removed. And since it is a very complex structure, it is not soluble in water because of the large molecular size. For monomers, they are soluble because they are smaller in size. Okay, they don't taste sweet, they don't crystallize like the sugar, simple sugar just now. They can only disintegrate through hydrolysis. Just now hydrolysis, remember the breaking down? But with the help of dilute acids. Okay, comes with boiling and also enzyme reaction to break them down. Not only just involving water. Like for disaccharides, they can be broken down by just adding one molecule of water. But this one comes with not only that, not only water, comes with the dilute acids. Okay, take note, yeah, this one important. Okay, it comes with boiling and also requires enzyme to catalyze. And polysaccharides are important. They play various roles in organisms. So let's look at the examples. Okay, cellulose, starch, glycogen. Okay, cellulose is the structure, the main structure of the plant cell wall. Remember that the cell wall is very tough. It's actually the cellulose, which is actually the polysaccharides. Sejenis carbohydrate ini. Okay, so as a support, so you look at the importance of these polysaccharides or the carbohydrates lah as a whole. Ini keseluruhan ini. So as a support, for example, cellulose in plant cell wall, we're talking about this. Okay, starch. Starch is the main storage in plants. For glycogen, it is the main storage in animals, main storage of polysaccharides. This one in plants, the storage form, starch. For animals, like including human beings, okay, our glucose yang berlebihan itu, it is being stored in the form of glycogen. So where is it being found? In the liver cells lah? Okay, in the muscle cells. Okay, so starch is also found in chloroplast. Okay, so where can you get starch? Di mana kamu boleh dapat makanan starchy food? The grains, the potatoes, okay, the legumes. All these are food that is rich in starch ataupun makanan yang berkandji. Okay, now you trace back, you look at here. This one is showing you this all the structure over here. So that means these monomers, the long molecular chains of the monomers forming polysaccharides. Okay, so to conclude, what are the importance of carbohydrates in cells? They act as a source of energy. Okay, for example, glucose. Okay, when we talk about cellular respiration, dia punya main substrate of cellular respiration is glucose. Remember, I asked you what is the function of cellular respiration? To generate energy. Okay, to generate energy dan juga cellular respiration, that one happens in the mitochondria. Ulang kaji sikit. Okay, as a food reserve, for example, glycogen in animal cells and also starch in plant cells. Okay, these two. Okay, food reserve. Food reserve. Remember, for us, glycogen bukan starch, but for plants, the plant cells, they are starched. Okay, and also structural support, which is the cell wall just now. Okay, that's it for carbohydrates.